Have you been considering moving in with your children as you age? What if I told you that this seemingly practical decision could secretly strip away your fundamental rights and freedoms overnight? The harsh reality is that thousands of seniors who made this choice are now silently suffering, having lost control over the most basic aspects of their lives. And the worst part is, many never saw it coming until it was too late. In this video, I'll reveal the 5 critical rights that seniors lose when moving in with their children, rights that once surrendered may be impossible to get back. This information could save you from making a decision you'll regret for the rest of your life. Let me tell you about Howard, a 78-year-old retired accountant from Wisconsin. After his wife of 52 years passed away, Howard's well-meaning daughter Jennifer suggested he move in with her family. "Dad, we have plenty of space, and you shouldn't be alone at your age," she said. The idea seemed practical. He'd save money, have help when needed, and enjoy being close to his grandchildren. So Howard sold his home of 30 years and moved into Jennifer's renovated basement. At first, everything seemed fine, but within months, Howard felt like a guest in someone else's home rather than a respected family member. His routines were disrupted, his possessions were rearranged without his input, and he found himself asking permission to do things he'd always done freely. "I never imagined I'd need approval to have a glass of wine with dinner or to adjust the thermostat," he confided to a friend. By the time he realized what he'd given up, his house was sold, his savings were diminished, and his options were severely limited. Today, I'll expose exactly what Howard wishes someone had told him before he gave up his independence. Information that could protect your dignity, your freedom, and your happiness for years to come. Right 1. Financial independence and control. Did you know that 68% of seniors who move in with their children report losing significant control over their own finances within just 6 months? This isn't about children being malicious. It's about how quickly the power dynamic shifts once you're under someone else's roof, even when that someone is your own child. According to Dr. Leonard Berkowitz, a leading elder rights attorney and author of Protecting Senior Autonomy, this financial control often begins subtly. What starts as helping with the bills frequently evolves into children monitoring every purchase, questioning spending decisions, and eventually taking over financial management entirely, often without explicit discussion or consent, he explains. What's particularly alarming is how rapidly this shift occurs and how difficult it is to reverse once established. Take Gladys, a 73-year-old retired librarian from Ohio who moved in with her son's family after a minor fall. Though mentally sharp and perfectly capable of managing her own affairs, she soon found herself in a position where she needed to justify every purchase. "I wanted to buy my granddaughter a special birthday gift. Something a bit expensive but meaningful," she told me. "My son intercepted the package and returned it, saying it was wasteful and that he'd select something more appropriate instead." When Gladys protested, her son reminded her that she was living in his house, using his utilities, and eating food he purchased. His message was clear: her financial autonomy was now secondary to his judgment. What's the solution? First, if you're considering moving in with family, establish a formal written agreement beforehand that explicitly protects your financial independence. Specify what expenses you'll contribute to and maintain separate bank accounts that only you can access. Second, consider alternatives that preserve your independence while still providing support, such as moving to a senior community near your children or hiring part-time help in your own home. Remember, once financial control is surrendered, it's extraordinarily difficult to reclaim. Act now, before you find yourself asking permission to spend the money you've earned over a lifetime of hard work. Right 2. Privacy and personal space. Have you ever realized how much your sense of dignity depends on having privacy and personal space? When you move into a child's home, this fundamental right often disappears almost immediately, leaving you feeling exposed and vulnerable in what should be your sanctuary. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that loss of privacy creates significant mental health impacts for seniors, with 74% reporting increased anxiety and depression symptoms within the first year of moving in with adult children. Dr. Victoria Hammond, a gerontologist specializing in senior living transitions, explains, "Privacy isn't a luxury for older adults. It's essential for maintaining identity and dignity. Without private space to make phone calls, entertain friends, or simply be alone with thoughts, seniors experience a profound sense of loss that can accelerate cognitive and emotional decline." Consider Thomas, a 75-year-old retired teacher who moved in with his daughter's family in Florida. What he thought would be a private bedroom and bathroom quickly became communal space. "My grandchildren burst in without knocking, my daughter reorganizes my belongings while I'm out, and my son-in-law feels free to borrow my things without asking," he confided. "The final straw was when I discovered my daughter had been reading my personal journal. When confronted, she simply said, 'Dad, we have no secrets in this house.'" Within months, Thomas had nowhere to have private conversations, no space that felt truly his, and no sense of personal boundaries. Here's what you must do to protect this essential right. If moving in with family becomes necessary, negotiate firm boundaries about your personal space before you move. Insist on a separate entrance if possible, or at minimum, a private area that others must respect. Establish clear rules about knocking before entering and respecting your belongings. Better yet, consider alternatives that maintain your independence while addressing concerns about living alone, such as a granny flat on your child's property or a senior community nearby. Once privacy is lost, the psychological impact can be devastating and permanent. Protect this right before it's compromised, because your dignity depends on it. Right 3. Decision-making authority over daily life. When was the last time you had to ask permission to eat what you wanted, stay up watching TV, or decide when to take a shower? These seemingly small freedoms form the foundation of adult autonomy. Yet they're often the first to disappear when seniors move in with their children. The American Journal of Geriatric Psychology reports that loss of decision-making authority in daily activities is the leading cause of depression among seniors living with adult children. Dr. Michael Stevenson, Director of Elder Autonomy Studies at Boston University, warns, "We see a disturbing pattern where well-meaning adult children gradually take over all decision-making, from meal planning to medication scheduling to social activities. This infantilization process strips seniors of agency over their own lives, often leading to learned helplessness and accelerated physical and cognitive decline." Take Judith, a 71-year-old former business owner who moved in with her daughter after knee surgery. Within weeks, she found herself following her daughter's family schedule rather than her own. "I've always been a night owl, but suddenly I was expected to be in bed by 9:30 because that's when the house shuts down," she explained. "I couldn't choose what to eat or when to eat it. I couldn't drive my own car without checking in first. My daughter even started laying out my clothes each morning, as if I couldn't dress myself." When Judith tried to assert herself, she was told she was being difficult and ungrateful. Within months, she stopped trying altogether. How can you prevent this slow erosion of your autonomy? First, before considering any move to a child's home, create a detailed written agreement about daily living expectations. Specify your right to set your own schedule, choose your own meals, and maintain your own routines. Second, consider alternatives that provide support while preserving independence, such as aging in place with home modifications and visiting caregivers. If you've already moved in and feel your authority slipping away, start reclaiming small decisions immediately. What you'll wear, what you'll eat, when you'll sleep. The longer you wait to assert these basic rights, the harder they become to recover. Your life experience deserves respect, not management, regardless of whose name is on the mortgage. Are you seeing the pattern here? Each of these rights disappears not through malice, but through a gradual shift in household dynamics that can be nearly impossible to reverse. But the next right is perhaps the most alarming of all. Right 4, legal and medical autonomy. Would you be shocked to learn that simply moving into your child's home can potentially compromise your right to make your own medical decisions? This is the frightening reality that many seniors discover far too late. According to research from the Elder Law Center at Georgetown University, seniors who move in with adult children often experience a disturbing phenomenon called presumptive incapacity, where medical providers begin directing questions and information to the adult child rather than the senior patient. Dr. Elizabeth Harrison, a leading elder rights attorney, explains, living with an adult child creates a subtle but powerful shift in how healthcare providers perceive a senior's decision-making capacity. Studies show that doctors are 64% more likely to direct treatment discussions to the adult child, even when the senior shows no cognitive impairment whatsoever. Consider Richard, an 80-year-old retired physician who moved in with his son's family after his wife passed away. At his very first doctor's appointment after the move, Richard noticed something disturbing. The doctor walked in, barely acknowledged me, and started discussing my test results directly with my son, he recalled. When I asked a question, the doctor responded to my son instead of me. It was as if I'd suddenly become invisible or incompetent. This pattern extended beyond the doctor's office. Pharmacists, insurance representatives, and even bank employees began treating Richard's son as the decision-maker, despite Richard having no cognitive issues whatsoever. More alarmingly, in some states, your residential status can impact legal presumptions about guardianship and decision-making authority. Moving into a child's home can inadvertently strengthen their position should they later seek formal legal control over your affairs. Here's what you must do immediately. Before considering any move, consult with an elder law attorney to establish ironclad advance directives, including a healthcare proxy and durable power of attorney that clearly states your wishes. Create a written agreement with your child that explicitly maintains your right to make your own medical and legal decisions. Most importantly, consider alternatives that provide support without compromising your autonomy, such as aging in place with appropriate modifications and support services. Once your legal and medical autonomy begins to erode, recovering it can require lengthy and expensive legal proceedings. Protect your most fundamental rights now, before someone else is making decisions about your body, your health, and your life. Right 5. Social freedom and independent relationships. Did you realize that one of the most devastating losses seniors experience when moving in with children is the gradual disappearance of their independent social lives? This silent erosion of social connections can have life-threatening consequences. Research from the Harvard Study of Adult Development, the longest-running study on happiness and longevity, shows that maintaining diverse social connections is more important for longevity than not smoking or drinking. Yet, 83% of seniors who move in with adult children report significant reduction in their social interactions outside the family within 1 year. Dr. Rebecca Walden, a sociologist specializing in aging, explains, when seniors move in with adult children, their social world often shrinks dramatically. Transportation becomes dependent on the child's availability, visitors must be approved by the household, and gradually, connections that took decades to build simply fade away. Consider Eleanor, a 76-year-old widow who moved from Florida to Minnesota to live with her daughter. Eleanor had an active social life in her retirement community, with bridge clubs, volunteer work, and a close group of friends. After moving, Everything changed. "My daughter means well, but she's busy with her own life," Eleanor shared. "I can't drive in the Minnesota winters, so I depend on her for transportation. My friends can't visit because they're thousands of miles away. My daughter says I can make new friends, but she has to drive me to any social activities, and she's rarely available." When Eleanor suggested having her weekly prayer group meet at the house, her daughter objected to strangers coming over while she was at work. Slowly, Eleanor's rich social network disappeared entirely. Here's how to protect this vital right. Before moving, map out exactly how you'll maintain existing relationships and build new ones. Ensure you'll have independent transportation, whether through driving yourself, public transit, or rideshare services. Establish clear expectations about your right to entertain visitors in your living space. Better yet, consider alternatives that provide family proximity without dependency, such as a senior living community near your children or home modifications that allow you to age in place safely. Your social connections are literally life-sustaining. Don't surrender them for the illusion of security that comes with moving into a child's home. You've now seen the 5 critical rights that seniors typically lose when moving in with adult children: financial independence, privacy and personal space, decision-making authority, legal and medical autonomy, and social freedom. These losses aren't the result of bad intentions. They happen gradually, naturally, and almost inevitably due to the fundamental power imbalance created when you live in someone else's home. Once surrendered, these rights are extraordinarily difficult to reclaim, leaving many seniors feeling trapped, depressed, and deeply regretful. Remember Howard from the beginning of our discussion. After 8 months living with his daughter, he finally expressed his unhappiness and desire for more independence. His daughter's response: "Dad, we've already sold your house and spent that money on renovating ours to accommodate you. Where exactly do you think you'll go?" Howard realized he had lost not just his rights, but also his options. Don't let his story become yours. You now understand exactly what's at stake when considering moving in with adult children. This doesn't mean family support isn't valuable. It absolutely is. But there are better ways to receive that support while preserving your essential rights and dignity. Consider alternatives like aging in place with appropriate modifications and help, moving to a senior community near family, or even a granny flat or in-law suite with separate entrance on your child's property. Whatever you decide, protect your rights with clear written agreements established before any move. Your independence, dignity, and happiness depend on the choices you make today, before circumstances force decisions that cannot be undone. If you found this information valuable, please hit the like button to help others find this crucial warning. Which of these 5 rights would be hardest for you to give up? Comment below and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos that protect your rights and dignity as you age. Share this with someone you care about who might be considering moving in with family. You could be saving them from a decision they'll regret for the rest of their life.